Well, never thought I'd say this in one of my videos, but hey, what have I got to lose? Happy Hanukkah, everybody. I'm Tyler, and I'm here to let you know that Adam Sandler's Eight Crazy Nights is no perfect movie, but chances are you really don't need me to tell you that, do I? So, Eight Crazy Nights is about an alcoholic troublemaker named Davey, played by Adam Sandler, who, long story short, gets arrested, but an elderly basketball referee, also played by Adam Sandler, suggests to the judge that Davey complete community service underneath him as a referee in training, and that if he fails to do so and is found committing a crime during his service, he will serve 10 years in prison. So he has a lot to lose, and he also has a lot to learn in regards to becoming a better person, showing compassion for others, and trying to heal some old wounds from his past. At least that's what the movie is convinced it's trying to do. And where do I start with this? I was about ready to hate Eight Crazy Nights before I put it on, just because I've seen some of Sandler's most recent Netflix shit, and yeah, it was absolutely insufferable. The Do Over and Sandy Wexler are hours upon hours of my life that I am never going to get back, and I didn't really have high hopes for this one because Sandler's been making the same shit for decades. And he's not letting up anytime soon unless that many people start watching Uncut Gems. But weirdly enough, this had to have been one of the easiest crappy Adam Sandler movies I've ever sat through in a long time. I didn't hate myself as I was watching it. I didn't like it. In fact, I sat through the majority of it in awkward silence, maybe chuckling once or twice. And even then, I was trying to hold it in because I'm just sitting there going, why am I even smiling at this? This is unbelievably pathetic. And at an hour and 11 minutes, not counting the opening credits, or the closing credits for that matter, it's a breeze to sit through. But at the same time, it fails as a comedy, it fails as a trauma because they're trying to do both. It fails as a musical because not only is this movie animated like a holiday special, it has songs in it like a holiday special. And wow, that was a lot of wasted baggage. And the reason it all fails is because it is only an hour and 11 minutes long. It is one of the most rushed, underdeveloped Sandler movies that I've seen in a long time. And as par for the course with any other Happy Madison movie, the writers are seriously convinced that the audience would much rather watch a 75-year-old man with ape like chest hair and ass hair for some stupid reason, a fat kid being told by a referee that he needs to wear a bra, so he goes to a shopping mall to put on a bra, only to be discovered by a lady working at the store. What else? Oh yeah, a basketball game where the losing team has to eat a fat, sweaty guy's jockstrap. Reindeer who were honestly the most likable characters at the beginning of the movie because when one guy is stuck in a ditch after a car crash, the deer actually help him back to his house. And then throughout the rest of the movie, the whole joke is that whenever they show up, they have shit in their teeth. Or an entire montage at a banquet where the mayor tells a joke that is so crappy, but everyone wants to please him, that they piss themselves, they shit themselves, the deer shit themselves, they vomit, they burp. There's a Chinese waiter played by Rob Schneider who spends the majority of the movie wearing women's wigs and walking around shirtless with buck teeth. This was 2002. Oh, and blowing snot rockets that are so huge and so disgusting that, yeah, the writers are so convinced that we would much rather watch that stuff than watch a broken-hearted man learn to be compassionate towards others, or an elderly citizen who, despite never receiving credit for it, continues to do random acts of kindness and continues to put other people's needs before his own. The things that we go to see Christmas and in this case Hanukkah movies for, because there are lowbrow Christmas movies like Christmas Vacation or Bad Santa, which are considerably better at gross out humor and much better in terms of story and message and character development. And none of this stuff lands because it is so rushed, and the writers are convinced that the gross out humor is really the only thing that matters, because the overall story that I just told you is that Sandler has to learn to become a referee in training, and it has some significance to him character wise because in his middle school days, he was an upstanding kid and a very talented basketball player. We see him ref one game throughout the entire movie. And it's the game where the fat kid is told to wear a bra because Sandler's the one telling him to wear a bra. We never see him actually learn or relearn anything on the job or even just in his own daily life. And okay, so outside of the main plot being forgotten just as quickly as it's introduced, how is the romantic subplot between Sandler and his old childhood girlfriend, played by Jackie Sandler? Or at least she wasn't Jackie Sandler yet, but that was like a year before they got married. Um, she's a single mom, played by Jackie Sandler. And if that's more than enough for you, you're gonna find it so sweet and endearing. But if you're like me, you're just gonna sit there and wonder what the fuck was the point of that? What does she see in him, despite the fact that she spends the majority of the movie saying, "Once a slob, always a slob. You're never gonna change." Which, yeah, for a Hanukkah movie about redemption and compassion, it is so mean spirited, and the gross out humor doesn't even help whatsoever. I sat there throughout the majority of the movie, sitting in silence, wondering, this stuff is disgusting. Why am I not looking away? Why am I not frowning? Then I opened up my bag of Swedish berries, and it became a lot more obvious. So, yeah, it's so rushed. It is so imbalanced. Sandler is not one of the most annoying characters in this movie as Davy, but he's definitely one of the least likable. And as I said before, it's because they don't really give him any time to actually develop. They don't give him any time to really show his redemption, because in Christmas Vacation and Bad Santa, we saw the redemption play out over the course of the entire movie. Clark Griswold is very selfish in how extravagant he's trying to be with the Christmas season, but he's doing so because he wants to please his family. He wants to show that he is working his ass off in order to provide for them, in order to make sure that they're happy with what they have. And that was an endearing and identifiable motive. With Bad Santa, the reason Willie's friendship with Furman feels so natural is because Furman never looks at Willie with any fear or disgust, and they share the common unfortunate feature of not really having anyone in their lives that understand them. So it actually felt natural. In this movie, Sandler goes from throwing a guy down a portable toilet down a hill, spraying him with a hose, thereby freezing him in shit, and leaving him there. And then 2 scenes later, he's all of a sudden good friends with that guy and they're having lunch together, and it makes absolutely zero sense. I can't really describe it any better than that. And as for the other roles that Sandler plays, because he does play Davy, the main character, he plays Whitey, this unbelievably high-pitched short guy with one foot that's bigger than the other, and he has epileptic seizures for no real reason other than comedy. It really didn't make any sense. A lot of people think that Whitey is the most annoying character in the movie, and if I'm being honest, I wasn't really bothered by him except for when they do show his chest and ass hair. That felt completely pointless. But as I said before, the reason I kind of let the high-pitched voice that Sandler uses pass is because, at the very least, he's an endearing character who is happy to help others even if it causes him nothing but pain and misery. I was, however, more pissed off with how they portrayed Whitey's sister, who is also played by Adam Sandler. I'll say this, Sandler does the Jewish mom stereotype voice so well that I wouldn't have guessed that it was even him. I think most people would guess that it was Mrs. Wolowitz from Big Bang or something like that. What did bug me was how she really is just one of the gross out side characters that exists just to get a cheap laugh out of the fact that her boobs are saggy, that her belly is fat, that she wears this paper toilet seat as she's dancing, and really stupid shit like that that just serves absolutely no purpose. And you know what? I'm done talking about the characters. I'm done talking about just how mean-spirited the message is and how it contradicts the message with all those stupid gross-out jokes. Did I mention that there was a woman with an extra breast and she has a breastfeeding shot? In case it wasn't obvious, I am trying to steer clear people away from this movie. Eyes Wide Shut is easier to watch. than Eight Crazy Nights. And Eyes Wide Shut was exactly what I wanted to do during the last 30 minutes, because that's when all the gross stuff happens the most frequently. I did say that this was a musical, and if I'm being honest, all the time spent on the musical numbers should have went to the more dramatic aspects of the movie. That way we would have at least spent time with Davy learning how to be a good person. I'd forgive it if any of the songs were semi-decent, but the lyrics are just so forced and lazy in terms of coming up with rhymes or even matching up with what they're singing about. There are so many times where the lyrics take a detour into these Family Guy style cutaways, so it was definitely a deliberate choice. They more than likely knew that they had little to work with. And, you know, Sandler's not a bad singer. I mean, if you ever heard the Hanukkah song, you know that for a fact, but because he's singing in character as this pathetic, unlikable loser, he doesn't really sing with that much passion, so even if we're judging it by the singing voices and the music, which is often enough for me to sidestep crappy lyrics, he doesn't sing with that much passion, and worst of all, it's on purpose. And since Jackie Sandler can't sing, when they swap her out for another woman as they're singing about their childhood and what went wrong, it's obvious. I don't really blame her for that, but it just took you out of it because you knew it wasn't her, mostly because she doesn't really speak that much, and not even in a visual way where you understand what she's going through. Just, she's a token girlfriend, and the worst kind of token girlfriend. There are girlfriends in Sandler movies who are memorable for crying. That's all I got. So, the nicest thing I can really say about Eight Crazy Nights is that the animation is actually really good. The characters move in such a natural way, the colors are all bright and vibrant, there's some impressive uses of camera movements throughout the entire thing. The designs are, as I said before a bunch of times, absolutely hideous just to serve the comedy, but I don't blame the animation department for it because they were just doing what they're told. It's what they were told to do that was really awful about it. So, yeah, I wish I had nicer things to say about the only Hanukkah movie I've ever heard of. I'm sure there are other Hanukkah movies, just not made in America or Canada, that's for sure. If there are good Hanukkah or good Kwanzaa movies or anything like that, please let me know in the comments below. You'd be doing me a favor. That'd be giving me at least something new to watch. So for pretty much every repetitive reason that I just mentioned, I'm going to give Adam Sandler's Eight Crazy Nights a 1.5 out of 5, simply because the animation really was that good, and it was easier to sit through because of how mercifully short it was, but being mercifully short does have its downsides. In any case, guys, thank you as always for watching. If you have seen Eight Crazy Nights, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. Be sure to stay tuned for more reviews, and be sure to like and subscribe. Take care.